Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a brand new video. So one of the most common questions I get asked is, how do you stay in shape year round and not sacrifice everything? So I'm going to take you throughout the day and show you the principles that I use and have used for years to make sure I can still live a life, but still look and feel my best. Let's go. So while I'm making breakfast, it's only fitting to talk about the food side of things. Now, when people think about getting in shape, and of course staying in shape, they think of restriction, they think of boring diets, they think of being hungry all the time, but it doesn't have to be that way. So one of the biggest tips I can give is Monday to Friday, I'll do the same food shop. I'll eat pretty much the same foods across the board. I'll have different variations of meals, but I'll stick to the same food sources. It will build a bit of predictability. It will take out the brain work of thinking of what I need to do. And it's also a little bit addictive. When you find that routine, when you get into that momentum, you almost don't want to stray away from the plan too much. As humans, we love routine and we thrive in routine. So make sure you build out that routine throughout the week, and then on the weekends, you can give yourself that time, that breathing space to maybe have a meal out, have something a little bit different to kind of break that cycle. But then trust me, once you build the momentum, you're going to want to get straight back into routine after that. Now, as much as I'm talking about, balance and how you can actually stay in shape whilst having a bit of balance, I was thinking today about going out for some breakfast, and the funniest thing is I decided against it because I know that I can cook a better breakfast. I know, and I think there's some people out there that can relate. When I'm out and I get some food, I'm usually quite disappointed because in my head I'm thinking I could have just made that 10 times better at home. And that's what you find starts to happen when you enjoy the meals that you're making and you find different variations. It's going to make it a lot more enjoyable to be in this kind of routine. While I'm here, I'm going to address the boiled egg situation. So you'll see in my previous videos, I do boiled eggs in the air fryer. There are always one or two comments asking, how's he done the eggs? Because they then see that they're in a pot of water. Now, I've not boiled them in the water. I've cooked them in here, 150 degrees, 11 minutes, and then I go straight into some cold water, let them sit for a little bit, and then it will allow the shell to come off a lot easier. So hopefully now, anyone who wants to do eggs in the air fryer knows that's how you do them. So there we go, breakfast is ready. The same breakfast I eat pretty much every single day. And no, I'm not bored of it because I've built out a meal that I know I enjoy and I know that I can make better than if I got it elsewhere. What I've already mentioned, if you make meals that you actually enjoy, then this is gonna be an absolute walk in the park. Time to eat. As impossible as this sounds, my biggest point is gonna be to make staying in shape something you don't have to think about. Eventually, your habits and your environment are gonna do the work for you. I'm sure some of you out there know how hard it is to get back on track once you've been off track, once you start slacking with your training, slacking with your nutrition, ordering takeaways, missing a gym session here and there. It can make it very, very difficult to get back into the swing of things. This lifestyle is so much easier and enjoyable when it's based on solid habits day after day. These habits are going to form the basis of your life and your non-negotiables. Getting your daily steps, hitting your daily protein, meal prepping, training, all of these habits are going to keep you anchored. Now, this is going to be easier said than done, but what you want to focus on doing is not fall into that cycle of getting back to it. You should just be used to doing this every single day and making it part of your daily routine. Something I don't ignore or stop tracking when I'm trying to maintain is the data. What I don't do is obsess over scale weight, macros, etc. I keep an eye on trends and identify them and then react to them rather than reacting emotionally to the scale weight. Which brings me on to my next point. So this is the body analyzer from Hume. So the easiest way for me to describe what this is if you're familiar with in your gym, sometimes what you can have access to is like a body analyzer, which takes a bunch of different readings and you can have access to it. Usually you've got to pay for it or have it, or they have it free. Well, this you can do at home. So I've only been tracking for a few days, but I've already got my humanoid here, which is showing me the distribution of my body fat mass and my muscle mass. Now, there are more ways to track your progress than just tracking your scale weight, as you can see here. So if we're looking on here, first of all, by the way, I'm 30 years old, but metabolic age of 23 years. I think I'll take that. So depending on what phase you're on, say you're on a weight loss journey or a muscle gain journey, this is going to be extremely interesting to see where you're distributing that muscle and where you're distributing that body fat. So a really cool feature, which I really love, is that when starting tracking, you can actually put your goal in of what you want to achieve, and it's going to tell you when that's going to be expected by. It's going to give you actionable insights along the way as well to tell you what you can do or what you can change to get you there a little bit quicker. So it takes the brain work out of it. It's almost like having a helping hand along the way, and it gives you a little bit of direction on knowing where you need to put more focus into and what areas are going well. So yeah, a great feature there. So what a lot of people don't often realize is that you can actually drop body fat and gain muscle at the same time. And by tracking the data, what it shows you is when dropping body fat and improving your physique, you're not always just going to see a direct line downwards. There are going to be fluctuations. The reason for that is because you're adding muscle at the same time. So oftentimes you might actually weigh the same or more than you did when you were at your lightest, but you'll look bigger and you'll look leaner. So I'm going to put an example here of a client that I coached. You can see on the second picture, his body composition has completely changed. He looks bigger, he looks leaner, but look at the weights, they're completely different. And that's because of what I've just mentioned there. You can still drop body fat and gain muscle at the same time. So I'm really excited to continue using this and continue tracking my metrics to see how I get on over the coming weeks. So for anyone interested in grabbing one themselves, I've actually got a link in the description, which is going to give you a discount code. And if you use it now, they're actually running a sale. So that's going to give you 50% off. So you can get this body analyzer half price if you take advantage now. So just leading off the point of data collection and assessing the data, an important point to think about is try and self-correct without panicking if things are going the way they shouldn't be. So say for example, you've gone on holiday like I've been recently in the past 2 weeks. When I got back, I'd lost a little bit of leanness. I was carrying a bit of water weight. I'd had a bit of weight in general just because I'd let myself enjoy a bit of food. Now, what I did wasn't get back, panic, and start to do everything that I could times 10. It was to simply get back into my usual routine, add a few extra steps here and there each day, maybe pull back some carbs from certain meals, and then just like that in a few days, I was back to where I was. So try to self-correct without panicking is one of the biggest things I would say when trying to create longevity when maintaining a physique. Anyway, I'm here making my lunch at the moment. You can see here I've got rice prepped. I've just made double chicken, so I've got chicken for tomorrow's lunch. And these are just little things you can do along the way. So I'm a big fan of prepping meals, as you will have seen from one of my YouTube videos. However, if you're someone who gets overwhelmed and thinks, God, I need to make 15 meals in one go, don't stress too much. Just, this is from last night. I had rice for my dinner. I made double and I've got some for lunch today. And as I made chicken for the lunch, I've made some for tomorrow's lunch. So doing little bits here and there where possible. So today's lunch actually is going to be, we've got some peppers in there that were done in the air fryer. Got a chicken breast, some jasmine rice, and I've made a satay sauce here. Super simple. So you've got peanut butter, soy sauce, bit of teriyaki, some sriracha, and then just a little bit of milk, and then just stir it, and it makes a really, really nice peanut sauce. So what you likely will have got from this video is that little and often done consistently is going to be one of the best ways for you to actually stay in shape. This is essentially because it's going to avoid you from falling off, starting again, falling off, starting again, and essentially just yo-yoing throughout your whole physique journey. So to wrap the video up, I wanted to finish with a bit of a breakdown of how I operate on a week-to-week basis and essentially a bit of an idea around my schedule. So weight training wise, I'll aim to do 4 sessions per week. One of those will most likely be in the garage gym and the other 3 will be done at my local gym. In terms of my output, I will always aim to get around 8,000 steps per day, which I'll break into different times of the day. The next bit of output, which will be my cardio, is now that I've scaled back my running a little bit, due to injury, I will be performing 2 lots of 30 minutes of cardio, usually as a fast-paced walk on a high incline treadmill or just on the exercise bike. This can usually act as a buffer to allow me a bit of room to have something a little bit different to the plan on a weekend, for example, or if I deviate a little bit away from my nutrition. And what I'll do over time is adjust my plan, whether it be my nutrition, my output, my training, based on my goals and based on how I'm progressing on a week-to-week basis. So with that, I'm going to wrap the video up there. Hopefully you got some value from this video on how to stay in shape and create longevity in your physique journey. And if you don't want to miss out on more videos like this, then subscribe to the channel so you're up to date with any new uploads, and I'll catch you in the next video.